Hey, what's up? What's happening, everybody? Got something a little different for you today. I'm just going to be looking at one particular artist through the records I have in my collection. Keep in mind, this is not complete by any means, but I think it's enough to be getting on with an introduction or kind of an overview. So his name is Dennis Brown. He is one of very few singers to almost get to the same heights as Bob Marley did in the reggae world, where he's a household name, yet not terribly well known outside that world. Several decades of recording, countless hit songs, album estimates, sometimes estimated to be in the low hundreds. So here's a quick look. I'm not going to get into singles too much. I've got a handful of those, nothing really too crucial to show you. I'm not going to, as much as I'd love to play some of these tunes for you, I will, as usual, leave a link to some crucial songs in the comments below. Dennis Brown started recording at Studio One in the very late 60s, early 70s. He recorded a song called No Man is an Island, reportedly about the age of 12, which was still a classic to this day. Recorded 2 albums for Studio One, one named after that song, No Man is an Island. Do not have that one yet. And follow up, I guess, If I Follow My Heart, Dennis Brown, Studio One label. Title track was a hit. Lots of other classic songs on here. A lot of covers of soul hits of the day. He moved on to, did the usual Jamaican freelancing from producer to producer. Ended up with the Joe Gibbs label, which was on the incline in the early 70s. 1972, he had a hit with a song called Money in My Pocket, which was produced by Joe Gibbs' in-house producer at the time, named Winston Holness, aka 90 the Observer. It's quite a notable producer in his own right. And they put out an album, Best of Dennis Brown. This has got an early hit, Westbound Train, on it. This wasn't, I believe this was not actually a greatest hits album, but just an album of new material that nonetheless was not too far off in its title. It's on the classic Jamaican Joe Gibbs label. And I also have another version, same album, later pressing, Best of Dennis Brown, Part 1. There is also a Part 2. Don't have that one. That's the different US Joe Gibbs label with the island and palm trees. Kind of late 70s, early 80s vintage there. Once Dennis Brown began working in earnest with 90 the Observer, as well as kind of freelancing off and on for Joe Gibbs, he really hit his stride. The two were a very simpatico pairing. Their first work together was the Just Dennis album. You can see he's still really young there, probably teens. This came out in, this is a UK pressing on the Trojan label. And this has Westbound Train on it, Cassandra, Silver Words, I believe, a cover of the Sixto Rodriguez song, which did make its way into reggae somehow. Further work with 90 the Observer, the Deep Down album. This is kind of not one of his top tier albums, but still very strong. It's a Canadian pressing on the Observer label. And this is actually a Jamaican pressing of it, completely different title, So Long Rastafari. This is on the Harry J label. The title track is kind of a traditional Rastafarian chant or song, psalm, whatever you want to call it. Kept going back to the Joe Gibbs label throughout the 70s and early 80s off and on. Here's another one, Joseph's Coat of Many Colors. This is when he's really starting to gear up to become a superstar in the world of reggae. Covers Bob Marley's Slave Driver, as well as mostly originals, Cup of Tea, 3 Meals a Day, Man Next Door, John Holt song. Now we start getting into his really crucial period of the late 70s, mid to late 70s. This is perhaps one of his greatest albums, if not. Visions of Dennis Brown. Some really great cover art on some of these albums. I've had this record for years, probably since the 1990s. One of the very earliest ones I picked up, again on the US Joe Gibbs. And this is pretty much solid classic songs, top to bottom. Deliverance Will Come, Concrete Castle King, Malcolm X, Repatriation, Milk and Honey. This is when he's starting to really come into his own as a cultural singer. Dennis Brown was one of the more distinctive vocalists to come out of Jamaica. He was equally versatile, singing love songs or more socially conscious, Rastafarian influenced songs. It's a further release, Words of Wisdom. Covers a little beat up here. Classic one there. That is a UK pressing on laser. Words of Wisdom, So Jose, Cassandra again. He would tend to recut some of his songs in different styles periodically, so there'd be different versions. This one is the only reissue here. This is Wolf and Leopards, Dennis Brown, another one of his top first, maybe second. This is a reissue from a few years ago on his own DEB music label. Another 90, The Observer production, Children of Israel, title track, Here I Come, which he would open his concerts with for many years, Whip Them, Jaja. Top to bottom classics. As the late 70s came on, he started moving into the UK lovers rock market in a stronger way. He would set up his own DEB music label out of England in partnership with another guy, Castro Brown. Began producing other artists, releasing records for that market, while keeping his eye on the Jamaican and the US one. There's another one, no cover for this one. Dennis Brown, Love's Got a Hold on You. It's early 80s again. Quite a strong album there as well. Through the partnership with Joe Gibbs, he was able to sign with A&M Records in the US. Released a couple albums for them. This one is called The Prophet Rides Again from 1983. And there was one called Foul Play, which is 1981. These albums sort of did okay by reggae standards, but didn't really cross over to a larger market like they were intended to or hoped for. So he concentrated more on the homegrown reggae markets. Again, recording for Joe Gibbs, Spellbound label. Gonna dig that fashion style there. Another one on the same label there. This has got Sitting and Watching, a big hit with Sly and Robbie holding down the rhythm. As he moved into less commercially oriented sound, his songs got harder, the rhythm's brutal. I think this one was one of the more recent ones I picked up. Satisfaction Feeling. Got this last year sometime. Kind of nondescript title and cover. It's on the Tad's label. But this is actually one of his toughest albums. It's got the great Don't Want to Be No General, Rub-a-Dub All the Time, If This World Were Mine, Oh Girl, Easy Take It Easy. Some great roots and dancehall on there. Stagecoach Showcase, as he's moving into recording for other producers. He's also financing his own labels with those recordings, and this is his own Jamaican label, Yvonne's Special, named after his wife. Title track is classic on here, also Fulfillment, heavy roots tune there. And this is more or less the same album. This is called More Dennis Brown. Cover's pretty beat up on that one. Slightly different track list. And he also did a number of duets albums. I showed this in one of my very early videos, I believe. This is one he did with one of the other great singers, Gregory Isaacs. I'll do another video dedicated to him as well soon. It's on the Green Sleeves label from the 1984. One side, one singer, each singer takes one side. It's kind of no rivalry between these guys. They were all friends. And I showed this one in my last video. That's kind of why I'm doing this spotlight video. Brown and Holt. Duets with John Holt. Unlike the Gregory Isaacs one where it's one singer on each side, this is actual duets with them both recording together. And one of his, I got a couple of quick singles I'll show you here. One of his biggest hits, as I believe I mentioned earlier, was Money in My Pocket, that he recorded in 1972. A few years later, the late 70s, he put out a recut of that with a 12-inch extended version, which was a huge hit in the reggae world. And this is the original 12-inch on the classic Joe Gibbs outer sleeve there and the Jamaican pressing. Money in My Pocket. It's a well-worn Jamaican pressing there. Both sides there. And one of his favorite songs of mine that I'll close with is on the King Culture label out of Canada. It's actually recorded for Music Works label in Jamaica. It is To the Foundation, one of his absolute essential tunes. As Dennis Brown went through the 80s, continued recording at a very prolific rate. As I said, it's estimated he's got in the low hundreds of albums out there, of varying quality as time went on. He developed a substance abuse problem, which was not really well known at the time. Continued recording through the 1990s, and then in 1999 he checked into the hospital with breathing difficulties and ended up passing away, as he had been an asthmatic for many years, and with the substance abuse problems it caused some complications, and he passed away at the very young age of 42, leaving behind a staggering body of work that few have equaled. So that is an introduction to Dennis Brown. I hope you enjoyed. Cheers, and peace out, guys.